Once again, welcome back to NM Serena. In this video, we are going to discuss the analysis of time series. Before analyzing the time series, we have to understand what is a time series. It is actually a, a data arranged chronologically, and it is a dynamic distribution which reveals good deal of variations over time. Through the analysis of time series, we can try to examine the effect of time on various variables. It discloses the relationship between two variables, one of which is always time. Then, what is time series analysis? Actually, it is a statistical device which can be used to understand, interpret, and evaluate changes in the economic phenomena over time with the hope of more correctly anticipating the course of future events. While analyzing this time series, we try to locate the slow and continuous change and also try to find out how much this change is due to accidental factors and causes, or we try to find various types of movements in a time series. Now, next we can discuss the importance of time series analysis. Actually, it is important not only to businessmen and economists, but also to the scientists, social scientists, biologists, etc. because of many reasons that we can discuss now. One of the important reasons is that it discloses the changes in time and the changes in the value of the variable. Then it helps in studying the past behavior. It helps in understanding the past behavior of a variable under study and to the causes and the directions of the fluctuations in such behavior. It also helps in determining the types and nature of the changes having appeared in the variable over a period of time. And then the probable future behavior of a particular variable can be estimated easily through the analysis of time series. It also helps in predicting the short range as well as the seasonal variations in the phenomenon. And the basic objective of the time series analysis is to focus the trade cycles. So it provides a safeguard to the business and trading community against depression. It helps in reviewing the current achievements and the current programs because it facilitates to review the achievements of the present and also to evaluate the current performances in any field of socio-economic activities. And finally, we can say that time series analysis is helpful in making a comparison between the behavior of different time series when the data are recorded systematically. And over a period of time, the comparisons become easy and the conclusions are drawn more easily between two time series. And now, the time series is classified into two as secular trend and short time fluctuations. So, let us discuss the different components of time series. The first component is the secular trend. Then there is seasonal variations, cyclic variations, and irregular fluctuations or random variations. Now these three, the seasonal variation, cyclic variation and the irregular fluctuation together makes the short-term fluctuations. That is the two classification of the time series, secular trend and short-term fluctuations. So from the total time series, if we deduct the secular trend, we get the short-term fluctuations. Or from the original time series data, if we deduct the short-term fluctuations, we get the secular trend. And now we can discuss each one of the components of the time series in detail. The first important component is secular trend. Now, the trend refers to long period changes. It actually shows the definite and the basic tendency of the statistical data with the passage of time. So it is the smooth, regular, and a long-term movement. It refers to the general tendency of a statistical data to rise or to fall or to remain the same. For example, in a series concerning population or national income, we can notice an upward tendency. Whereas in the data related to birth or death or illiteracy, we can notice a downward tendency. That is called a secular trend. Now, the secular trend can be of two types. It can be a linear trend or a non-linear trend. When the rate of the gradual growth or decline of a time series remain constant in the long run, it is called a linear trend. And a straight line trend, or we can say it as a first degree curve. So if the time series data plotted on a graph show more or less a straight line, then the trend is called a linear trend. Otherwise, when in the long run, the gradual growth or decline in a series is not at a constant rate. So it does not exhibit a straight line. Then that trend is called a non-linear trend or curvilinear trend. Now the next type of a series is seasonal variation. The periodic movements in the business activity are those which occur at regular intervals in every year. As these variations repeat during a period of 12 months, they can be predicted quite accurately. The seasonal movements like annual periodicity in a business or economic theory. Though the word seasonal is concerned with the season of the year, but here the term is meant to any type of variation which is periodic in nature and it's repeating cycles of a relatively shorter time. Thus, the seasonal variation in a time series will be there if the data are recorded quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, etc. So, and these seasonal variations may be due to two reasons like natural factors or man-made conventions. The seasonal movements due to the various seasons or the weather conditions and the climatic changes are due to the natural factors like the sale of woolen clothes increase in the winter and the sale of ice will increase in summer. These are affected by the natural forces and the production of certain items like sugar etc depend on seasons. Similarly, the man-made changes like habits, customs, fashion, etc., bring about changes in the time series, which we can call as man-made variations or conventions, like the maximum sales during the marriage season and the sales during the festivals like Diwali, Christmas, etc. The basic aim of studying such seasonal variations is to isolate these variations from the trend and to study their effects separately. The next one is cyclic variation. They are the periodic movements or the variations that occur at periods of more than 1 year, like the business cycles, trade cycles, etc. In several time series, we can find the periodic up and down movements in the economic data that we can call cyclic variations. These movements are like a wave, but the distance from peak to trough is not the same. These cycles are generally repeated at intervals ranging from about 3 to 10 years. These are caused by a complex combination of forces affecting the equilibrium between demand and supply. A business cycle may be the four phases of a cycle, which includes prosperity, recession, depression, and recovery. So, such cyclic changes, we can call it as cyclic variations. Now, this is the last component of the time series, which can be obtained after separating the secular, seasonal, and cyclic variations from the original data of the time series. The irregular fluctuations are those caused by unusual, unexpected, and accidental events like the earthquakes, strike, flood, etc. These events cause sudden transition of affairs from one state to another, and the irregular fluctuations are random in their nature. These fluctuations are different from the other three components as these are not only erratic but also unpredictable. These fluctuations do not have a repetitive tendency. It is also called residual, random, irregular, erratic, or accidental fluctuations. For example, wars, strikes, lockouts, volcanic eruptions, droughts, earthquakes, storms, epidemics like corona outbreak, etc. These specific forces cannot be foreseen or predicted. So such fluctuations may also occur in a time series. Now we have discussed the different components of the time series in detail. Thank you for watching this video. For more videos, subscribe the channel.